Kala khona uSenzo noKelly.
Yebo.
Yes.
Unjani?
That's correct.
And the people that slept at that place were yourself, Senzo Meyiwa, Kelly Khumalo, and Zandile Khumalo, correct?
Yilabo ababizayo abantu ababeleli khona lapha eMalbathini, angithi?
Yebo.
Correct.
And before you went to bed, were you at some stage during that evening accompanied by other people in that household?
Ngaphambilini kokuthi niyolala ingaba babe khona yini abanye abantu ababe khona lapho ngaphambi kokuthi niyolala?
Yebo,
yes,
khona.
They were.
Explain the circumstances around you meeting those people, and perhaps if you know them and their agendas.
Awuchazeke ukuthi kwenzeka kanjani ke ukuthi uhlangane nalabo bantu labo nokuthi futhi kwaku abantu kwaku abesilisa abesifazane.
Kakuwe wesilisa nowesifazane angizange ngize ngikhulume nabo, angizange ngababona kodwa angizange ngize ngibe ne-interaction nabo, bemele futhi bahamba bona, so angizange ngize ngibabone nje. Yazi kodwa ukuthi kakumuntu wesilisa nomuntu wesifazane.
It was a male and a female. I never interacted with them. I just saw them standing there and then they left.
What I want to get at, and I'm just polishing on this point, is that was the male person that you saw that night Longwe Twala?
Engifuna nje ukwazi ukuthi leyo muntu lowo wesilisa kwakulongwe Twala.
Ay angikhumbuli, ngifuna uqhama ngikhumbula ngacathi ngangizobona sikakuyena ngoba ngakusasa ngambona, so angazi angikhumbula nje ngikhuluma naye nje ngisho ukuthi waye kude kunami.
I don't remember, and I also think that if it was him I would have been able to recall because I saw him the following day, but I don't remember, I don't know, and as I said that he was at a distance from me and I never spoke to him.
Okay. Let's now move to the incident of the 26th of October 2014. Your testimony is that in the morning of that day, you, Kelly Khumalo, Senzo Meyiwa, and Zandile were supposed to go to a party of Roy Mahamudza's, correct?
Yebo.
Yes.
And if I understood your testimony correctly, is that you did not arrive at that venue, correct?
Yes.
Now, Zandile Khumalo testified in this matter, and on this aspect she testified as follows, that indeed you went to that venue where the go-karting event was going to be as part of Roy Mahamudza's party.
Kobakheke ubufakazi uZandile uthe naya ke la i-go-karting yayizoba khona ke kulungiselela yona ke iphathi kaRoy Mahamudza.
And when you got to that venue, Senzo Meyiwa got out of the car, and it is when that they realized that the preparations for the party were not ready, and thereafter you then went to Dorothy Nyembe Park.
Uma nifika khona lapho ke wase uSenzo ehlake emotweni ila khona ke kwatholakala khona ke ukuthi cha ukulungiselela yona ke iphathi leyo kwangekaqedwa nase nihamba ukusuka lapho niya eDorothy Nyembe Park.
Angikwazi mina ukusho lokho kwazandi angazi kodwa engikushoyo mina ukuthi azange size sifike kwiphathi.
I cannot say that which is said by Zandi. I don't know, but what I'm saying is that we never reached the venue of the party.
Njoba ngishilo ukuthi sangena kwinto engathi mall or complex, sangena eWimpy sathenga ukudla sasuka from eWimpy sa drive back to SOS.
As I said that we drove into some sort of a center or a mall, we went to Wimpy, we bought food, and we drove to Soweto. We never reached the venue.
Now, at that venue, Dorothy Nyembe Park, your testimony is that you were made to sit in a tent in a VIP section, correct?
VIP section. Yes, I said so. That's true.
In that VIP section, did you drink alcohol that day at Dorothy Nyembe Park?
We have VIP section at Dorothy Nyembe. No.
Now, your testimony is that after Kelly Khumalo and Zandile Khumalo had finished their performances, you then decided to leave Dorothy Nyembe Park, correct?
Masebeqedile ke bona bobabini nase ni hamba ke Dorothy Nyembe.
Yebo.
Yes.
And you drive to your hometown, which is Katlehong. What was the purpose thereof?
Naya kini Katlehong kwakuyini injongo yalokho?
Akukuthi mina ngoba ngangishuthi ngisagqoka impahla ezodwa from izolo ngangizosala ngoba kangahlangani nje izinto sasilwe sifonela sasingahlangani so ngangizosala mina ngazi ukuthi ngiyasala.
It was to leave me there because I was still wearing the same clothes that I was wearing the previous day, and the plans were just not coming together, so I was going to be left behind.
And did you eventually got dropped off at home?
Yebo.
Yes.
And your testimony is that after some time, Senzo Meyiwa calls you again to say, where are you? You tell him that you are at home, and he says he's coming to pick you up because they are going to fetch Tumelo Madlala, correct?
Kamuvu Senzo akufonela kubuza ukuthi uphi wathi usekhaya wathi uyabuya uzokulanda niyolanda uTumelo.
Yebo wangifonela wangibuza ukuthi ngikuphi. Ngathi mina ngila endlini wathi ayishintsha ntwana sami.
Yes. Ask me where I was. I said I was at home. Change. Let's go.
Wasathi asambe so ngathi mina ibusiyapho wasathi asambe so la uTumelo la ngitshela khona ngoTumelo wangitshela over the phone ngoTumelo.
I wanted to know where we were going. That's where he told me about Tumelo. It was over the phone when he informed me about Tumelo.
Roughly after how many minutes after dropping you off did he call you about this aspect of going to pick up Tumelo Madlala?
Kwakusemuva kwesikhathi esingakanani ekushiyile kini nkathi manje sekufonela ke ukuthi asamsolanda uTumelo?
Hey kakukushesha kakhulu mhlawumbe 2 minutes 3 minutes lapho nje.
Maybe 2-3 minutes, very quick.
Now you've testified as well that you know Tumelo Madlala. What is the nature of your relationship with him? Is he an acquaintance? Is he a best friend? Is he a close friend? What's your relationship?
Ukuthi uyamazi uTumelo, uyamazi njengombona umjwayele noma umngani wakho?
uTumelo angeke ngize ngisho ukuthi umngani wami.
uTumelo say he's my friend.
Ngimazi through uSenzo.
I know him through Senzo.
So uSenzo sometimes wathi mayize kumina uthola uhlaphize kumina emlazi ka esuka kakhe uhamba noTumelo.
I know him.
Sasabangani ngiyacathwa ina inamba yami nami nganginaye yakhe but sasingabona abangani sasingahlangani if uSenzo ngekho.
We were not friends. He had my number, I had his number. I knew him through Senzo because he was Senzo's friend. You would find when Senzo was coming to visit me at the AA section in Umlazi, coming from the K section, he would come in the company of Tumelo. And we would never get together, myself and Tumelo, without Senzo.
In your evidence in chief, you testified that Makhumalo and perhaps, you'll clarify that one for me, and perhaps Zandile Khumalo were using Tumelo Madlala's crutches to assault the assailants or the suspect in the house, correct?
Uzosho ke uma ngenza iphutha kodwa ushilo ukuthi ke uMakhumalo kanye naye uZandile babesebenzisa wona ama-crutch kaTumelo ukushaya abasola laba ababili ababesendlini.
Yebo ngishilo lokho.
That's correct.
Now from that aspect of your version, that will lead me to deduce that uTumelo Madlala was carrying an injury of some sort, correct?
Okusho ke ukuthi uTumelo wayelimele.
Yebo wayelimele.
Yes.
Can you perhaps from your physical outward observation of Tumelo, what was the nature of that injury?
Ngendlela owambona ngayo ke kwakuyini le noma wayelimele kanjani?
Noma ngasakhumbuli kahle but wayelimele angazi mayilimala ubhozo umsebenzini noma wayelimele but wayengaphukile kangakona ukulimala ukuthi uphukile akakwazi ukuhamba wayekwazi ukuhamba without even ama crushes wayelimale I think ubhozo or read masifaka leyo casting kodwa kahle kodwa injury yakhe kangona injury enkulu.
It wasn't a major injury. I think it was at work where he got injured and it was his big toe, and it was not a situation where that he was broken or he had broken a leg or because he could even walk without the crutches.
And now you pick up Tumelo Madala from the highway somewhere in Spruitview or Vosloorus, and then you proceed to Makhumalo's house, correct?
Uma sengiqeda uthatha uTumelo nasenya eFosloras.
Khona la saqala sadlula khona ukuthi sayifosloras.
Before we went somewhere before going to Fosloras.
So there was a detour to go and buy alcohol drinks before you went to Makhumalo's house, correct?
Nothenga utshwala.
Yebo.
Yes.
I mean, the point is neither here nor there, but Zandile Khumalo testified that from picking up Tumelo Madlala, you proceeded straight to her house, and when you arrived at her house, you realized that you hadn't bought alcohol. Then it is then that you went back to buy alcohol, but nothing turns on that. You may comment if you want.
Uma ngaba ukuthi ke uyafisa ukuthi uphawule kuloko ungaphawulaki kodwa ke akukho nje okuningi kuloko ukuthi nje uZandile yena ngoba kubufakazi uthe nahamba uma seniqeda ke uthatha uTumelo naya kibo eFosloras kodwa ke manifika lapho ke ngikaphumi nophuma emotweni nabona ukuthi aninazo izibuzo nahamba ke naya kwindawo athe uZandile uma ichaza kuKwaKhwembu's Tavern nayothenga khona ke utshwala.
I
don't remember it like that.
Now, with respect to the alcohol that was bought at the tavern, let's talk about the kinds of alcohol. We saw on the photos during Zandile Khumalo's testimony, we only saw a can of Heineken and a can of Guarana, but you say you also consumed Hunter's Gold, correct?
Kuyithombe siyibonileke lana sibone nje isithombe se Heineken neseGuarana kodwa wena ke ubufakazi bakho uthi wena waphuza iHunter's Gold.
Yep.
Yes, that's true.
And specifically for you, the Hunter's Gold that you drank, how many quantities were bought for you?
Kwakuthengwe noma wawuthengelwe ama Hunter's Gold amangaki wena?
6.
Now, you go to Makhumalo's house, and now in the car, it's yourself, Kelly Khumalo, Zandile Khumalo, and Tumelo Madlala, and Senzo, of course, correct?
Ibo bonke laba abantu ababesendlini laba ababizayo manje.
Babesendlini noma?
No, in the car as you travel to Makhumalo's.
Oh, endleleni eya kwaMakhumalo. Yes.
Yebo.
Yes.
And at Makhumalo's, you find her plus the 2 children belonging to Kelly Khumalo, correct?
Nasenthola yena umama endlini kanye nabantwana abawu2 bakaKelly.
Yebo.
Yes.
Now, let's move forward, and I'm not going to crack your head with the time that Longwe arrived before, because the phone records show that he arrived at Makhumalo's place at just before 7, exactly at 18:57 p.m. That will be correct according to your recollection, correct?
Ukhumbula ngokwama phone records ke bathi uLongwe wafika lapha yana nje phambi ko7 noma imizuzu 3 phambi ko7 nawe uma ukhumbula ngaba yileso sikhathi
ngasho ukuthi ngaba yisona nje bengishilo ukuthi wafika seliphelile ibhola sekuqala sekumnyama.
I would say that it would be around that time. As I said, that the game was done. We were done watching the game, and it was dark.
And what was Longwe Twala's demeanor when he got to Makhumalo's house?
Waye kanjani ke noma isimo sakhe kuLongwe sasikanjani ke uma efika kwaMakhumalo?
Ukuthi uLongwe angimazi. So ngeke ngize ngikwazi ukuthi ngichaze ukuthi waye njani ngoba angimazi ngiqala ukumbona.
The thing is, I don't know Longwe, so I'm in no position to describe his demeanor. I saw him for the first time, or I was seeing him for the first time.
I'm asking you this in the context that we are all Africans. If I get into a house, whether I know you or not, the first thing that I'll do is to greet. I'm talking in the context of your testimony yesterday when you say you don't recall Longwe greeting you, but specifically you remember him and Senzo Meyiwa greeting each other. Is that correct?
Mkhumbo, lokho ngeke ngikhulumiswa yinto yokuthi ke sonke ke singama Africa. Siyazi ukuthi uma umuntu engena emzini umuntu uyabingelela kodwa wena kushilo ukuthi awumkhumbule ebingelela kodwa ke yena noSenzo babingelelana.
Yebo qinisile ngishilo ngathi mina ngikhumbule ebingelela mina mhlawumbe khona ungangiphikisa athi wabingelela but mina personally angikhumbuli ebingelela.
Yes, I said so that
But
I
yena
personally don't remember or don't recall him greeting, but someone else might come and dispute that, but I'm referring to myself. But him and Senzo,
but when it comes to yena noSenzo ngababona ngoba babingelelana ngazi ngoba mina ngabuza uSenzo ukuthi ubani umjida.
I saw the two of them, him and Senzo, greeting each other because I could see them greeting each other. I then asked Senzo, who is this guy?
Okay. And on that one, you anticipated my next question. On that one, when you asked Senzo, who's this guy, did he say it's his name or did he give the name and the relation to a certain person in the house?
Uma ubuza uSenzo ukuthi ubani lo mjidi wakunikeza igama lakho mekuphendula noma wamhlanganisa nomuntu othize owayekhona lapho endlini wakunika igama lakhe noma wathi wamhlanganisa nomuntu olapha endlini
ngathi washo wangitshela nokuthi ubani lo muntu ukuthi washo ukuthi umjida kaZandi.
He said that it's I think he told me who the guy is and also told me that it was Zandi's guy.
Ngoba ngabona lapho ukuthi umjida kaZandi ngabona futhi ukuthi uhlele eceleni kwakhe shothi hayi umuntu wakhe but ke ngakuqhubekela neindaba zethu sasikhuluma.
Because I could see that indeed it was Zandi's guy because he even sat next to Zandi, but we then proceeded with the conversation that we're having.
Now, on a question that was touched by my learned friend, Advocate Baloyi, I just want clearance on that one. How long after Longwe's arrival did the two suspects then arrive in the house?
Kwakusemuva kwesinkathi esingakanani ke uLongwe engenile ukufika noma ungena ke kwalabasola ababili endlini.
Boningo kwenzeka after uLongwe ngenile.
A lot happened after Longwe came in.
Wayesangaphandle so i-duration angeke ngize ngikwazi mhlawumbe futhi ngi-estimate kahle ngoba nathi saphumela ngaphandle sayobhema wayengaphakathi uLongwe ngesenza konke lokho.
Because Senzo was outside where that happened and we even went out to go and smoke and when Longwe was inside the house.
Now, let's talk about the two suspects arriving. And you say the first suspect to arrive was the one carrying a firearm, correct?
Ushilo ukuthi oqala kulama suspects amabili ke okungena wayephethe isibhamu.
Yebo kunjalo.
That's correct.
And this firearm from the first suspect, was it immediately upon entry pointed at the people in the house or how was it held as he entered the house?
Lesi sibhamu lesi ke ingabe wathi nje uma engena endlini wase ekhomba ngaso abantu abaphakathi endlini noma owayesibambe kanjani?
Ngingakusho ukuthi njengoba ngisho ukuthi ukungena kwakhe wangena emva kwakhela ngithi so uma engena uKelly ebaleka eqhubeka mina ngakhuluma ukuthi ngangibuka uSenzo.
Okay, as I said that he came in, or as he came in, he was behind Kelly, and Kelly ran, and then he proceeded, and then at that moment I looked at Senzo, yebo.
Ngase ngibuka yena ngabona isibhamu lesi.
And then I looked at
ukuthi angene wayesiwalvila ngazochaza kanjani but wawusibona ukuthi isibhamu but hayi ukuthi kakhona umuntu directly amkhombile ngaso.
Then looked at him and saw that this is a firearm, not that he had pointed it at a particular individual or person but sort of swerved it, but I don't know how to describe that, but was swerving it, but I could see that it was a firearm.
And just for brevity's sake, you see this first suspect with a firearm standing next to, remember from the pictures, next to the passage in the vicinity of the heater. Is that correct?
Umbona noma onkathi umbona ume lapha epassage eduze nala okhombe khona ukuthi kwakune heater khona.
Yebo.
Yes.
But at some stage or at any stage during that incident of him with the firearm, did he at any stage point it at the people in the house.
Ngabe sikhona yini isikhathi la lesi sibambi lesi ayekhombe ngaso abantu laba ababephakathi endlini?
Njebe ngisho ukuthi angeke ngize ngisho ukuthi khona umuntu ayimkhombi ngiyacatha ngeke akhomba abantu aba6 ngesikhathi esisodwa. So obviously my khomba kufanele akhomba umuntu. So njebe ngisho ukuthi bayi12 isibhamu akekho umuntu directly ayemkhomba but ngasibhamu sabonakala kumina ngasibona base sinaka right.
There is no way that you would be able to point 6 people at the same time or at once. So if he was pointing, he would have been pointing to a particular person. But as I said, that he was swerving it, and I saw the firearm.
Then your testimony is that that first suspect then demands money and cell phones from the people in the house, correct?
Wasefuna imali nama cell phones.
Yebo.
Yes.
In what language was that demand
Ngaluphi
for
ulimi?
money and cell phones made?
Le ngicela ukuthi ngichaze kahle.
May I explain that well?
Iyakuthi. Umuntu owangena endlini wafuna money and cell phones, which is igama lesi ngisibambe.
The person that came into the house said money and cell phones, which is English.
Kodwa ukusho kwakhe wakusho ngesizulu.
But in saying it, he said it in isiZulu.
Suthu. But
Suthu.
la ngiya khona mangifaka usuthu ngukusho ngoba lento yenzeka eGoli.
Okay. But my inclusion of the Sesotho language, I'm saying that because we are in Gauteng.
Angisho ukuthi wayekhuluma ngesisuthu ukuthi isizulu somuntu wasemlazi nesizulu somuntu wasenkandla nquthu nesizulu somuntu wasekatlehong asifani isizulu esisodwa kodwa.
Okay. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying that the person said in Sesotho, but Sizulu spoken by someone from Nkandla, Nquthu, Mlazi, as well as Sizulu spoken by someone from Katlehong is not the same, but it's all isiZulu.
So ngime lapho.
That's where I'm standing. I'm pausing.
So it's I don't even going to belabor that point. It's a matter of accent.
Pronunciation.
Accent pronunciation, you can say so.
And in which hand was that firearm held by the first suspect when he entered the house?
Isibhamu lesike sasiphethwe kusiphi isandla?
Right.
Right.
And besides those words, the demand, cell phones and money, did he use any swear word or an expletive?
Ayikhona yini inhlamba eyasetshenziswa kulo cell phones and money?
Cha ngikhumbula.
No, I can't remember.
And what was the tone of his voice like when he made that demand?
Tone ye voice yakhe noma iphimbo lakhe noma ivoice yakhe ke yayikanjani inkathi esho lokho?
I
don't understand you.
Was it an aggressive, loud tone, or was it a gentle tone, like you are saying, cell phones and money?
Ukhuluma ngalendlela okusho ngayo wena cell phones and money noma ukusho umbono ukuthi lo muntu lona uxabene ulwile uaggressive.
Ngiyacabanga ukuthi ngingasho ukuthi aggressive noma ke aggressive mhlawumbe uzoba derogatory yangazi but again umuntu owafuka athi hey mafoni wakusho nje yena kahle ngakuso so uzoba in between aggressive and soft tone.
I was
but obviously umuntu ayifuna into la engayona yakhe so wayengekaza ahleke vele.
I was between aggressive and soft tone because he said it and I could hear it and you could hear that this was someone who wanted something that wasn't his, so there's no way that the person would be laughing.
Now, as he makes those demands for cell phones and money, did anyone from the house respond verbally to that demand?
Kulabo ke ababesendlini ukhona yini owaphendula kuloko?
Cha.
No.
Now, would I be correct to say that when you saw the firearm, like you said, you could see now with the firearm that the situation is serious from your earlier perception that this was a joke, but when you saw the firearm, then you knew the seriousness of the situation. Were you scared at that time?
Ushilo ukuthi ngaphambilini wacabanga ukuthi i-joke kodwa ke musubona ke isibhamu uyabona khona ukuthi ku serious lokho ingaba lo ngaleso sikhathi ke manje uma ke usufikelela kulokho ukuthi ku serious manje ngaba wawusaba yini?
Yebo ngisaba.
Yes, I was scared.
And would it be correct to say also that you testified that you entered into a trauma mode and you were shocked as well?
We took the foot.
Yebo.
Yes.
And also that the events that were transpiring were happening at lightning speed pace.
Nokuthi kwenzeka ngokusheshsha.
Yebo.
Yes.
Had you previously seen these two suspects that entered the house prior to the events of the
Abantu
26th
laba
of October
wabona
2014?
yini ngaphambilini laba bangena lapha yana.
Abantu kanjani?
Owake wababona noma kwakuwukuthi wawuqala babona ngaleli langa noma wake wababona ngaphambilini?
Ngibazi ngiqala ukuphapha.
No, I don't know them. I saw them for the first time.
And then you say that the first suspect had a firearm. From which angle did you see the firearm from relative to where he was standing in that vicinity of the arc and the heater?
The angle of the firearm.
Yes.
Uma usibona isibhamu usibona yipi part noma ubona lokhu uhlangothi lwesibhamu uma ngabe usibona?
Relative to where you were seated on the couch according to the sitting arrangements that you described
La
yesterday.
wohlezi khona. Yipi part yesibhamu oyibonayo? Yes. Uma
Yes, for example, did you see only the front part as it swelled, whatever term you used, or on the side of the firearm?
Ngingasho ukuthi ngabona kancane nje la ngaphambili.
I would say that I saw a little bit of the front part.
And do you recall what color was that firearm?
Mbala wesibhamu?
Cha.
No.
Now, before these two suspects entered, what were you paying attention to, or what were you doing before they entered, in the immediate period before they entered?
Ngaphambilini kokuthi nje bangeni yini wawubhizi ngayo? Noma wawubhekeni noma yini nje owangathi wawubheke yona noma
Mina ngangibuka ukheli ngoba khona into eyayi describe or engathi ngizothini khona into ayenza kodwa ngesonto engilisho kodwa khona dance move ayenza yesonto thizeni.
I was looking at Kelly. There's something that she was describing, demonstrating about a certain church, which I am not going to mention.
Did you notice the first suspect then when you didn't see him actually entering through the kitchen door? You only saw him at the arc where he was standing. Would that be correct?
Awumbonanga uma engena lokuqala umbone nje uma sesemva koKelly.
Yebo.
Yes.
And then the second suspect, where did you initially see him for the first time?
Uma ngabe uqala ukumbona lo wesibili ke yena umbona ekuphi nendawo?
Ngesikhathi sekusukunya senginami ngiyolanda ifoni la mangithatha ifoni yami la ngibona khona ukuthi awukhona nomuntu wesibili ngesikhathi sebebhushelana ngase.
When we were standing up and then I was on my way to go and take my phone, I then realized, oh, there is a second person and now they are pushing each other towards the kitchen.
And where did you see him?
Umbona
the second
ekuphi nendawo?
suspect?
Ngimbona ngale ngakwi arc.
On the other side in the ark.
So that will be in the hallway or in the kitchen, specifically where?
Khona lapho epassage leyo noma ekitchen.
Ngingasho ukuthi between i-arc le ngishoyo necamera leli icamera la uKelly wabaleka wangena khona.
Between the ark and the bedroom where Kelly ran into, or which Kelly ran into.
Now, you're talking about Kelly running into a bedroom that is opposite the kitchen. Did you see the second suspect following after or pursuing Kelly to that bedroom?
Ushilo ukuthi uKelly wabe sengena kulelo kamera. Ngabe wambona yini lo wesibili uma ngabe esesukela ke uKelly noma egijimisa uKelly? No.
Now, also because you can't speak for somebody else, but I'll put it out there for the sake of record purposes. Zandile Khumalo testified in this matter, and with respect to that aspect of Kelly Khumalo running to that bedroom, she said that the second suspect as well followed or ran after Kelly, and Kelly managed to get into the bedroom, and the second suspect was trying to push the door open in which Kelly had run.
Ngoba ke ubufakazi uZandile uthe uma ngabe uKelly esebaleka kulelo kamera ke lo wesibili ke naye wabe sesukela ke uKelly futhi ke uma efika lapho ke ephusha ke isiqapha leso ukuthi sivuleke wakubona yini lokho?
Hayi mina ngenze ngikhulume kakhulu ngalokho ngikwazi.
I won't say much about that. I don't know.
Now you've spoken about visibility and illumination. I won't take you up on that one. But outside, let's talk about the outside without ambient lighting. Was there ambient lighting or was it dark outside?
Ngaphandle ke ubusukhulumile ngaphakathi endlini ngeke ngikubuze ngalokho. Ngaphandle ke kwakukanjani ke kwakumnyama noma kwakhanya ngaphandle?
Hayi kangekho mnyama ngibona sasobe endaweni emnyama.
It wasn't dark. I don't see us. I would imagine us standing in a dark place.
Now you testified as well that the second suspect was armed with an object that looked like a knife, a sharp object looking like a knife, correct?
Ushilo ukuthi lo wesibili ke naye ke noma wayephethe into ebuka engathi ummese.
Yebo.
Yes.
And let's be clear on that one, and I'm going to press you on that one. You know what a knife looks like, correct?
Angithi uyawazi ummese ukuthi ukanjani?
Yebo.
Yes.
And something that is anti-knife, that is not a knife. You'll know that this is not a knife, correct?
Into engasiyona ummese uyazi ukuthi lokhu akusiwona ummese.
Yebo.
Yes.
So that object, was it a knife or was it not a knife?
Manje ke lokho wayekuphethe kwakummese noma kwakungasiwona ummese?
Ummese.
A knife.
Was it a knife?
A knife.
But in your evidence in chief yesterday, you vacillated and you moved more towards that the object was not a knife. Did I understand you correctly?
And the witnesses only said he says sharp object that looked like a knife.
Yeah, that's what it is. Let's move on, my lord. We're not going to belabor that point. And in which hand was the suspect holding that knife then?
Uphethe kwisiphi isandla lokho okwakubukeka ngathi ummese?
Hayi angisakhumbuli ke number 2.
I can't remember number 2.
And how far was the second suspect when you observed him holding the knife?
Ngathi umbona ephethe ummese lona wayekude kangakanani?
Noma ngeke ngizokwazi ukuthi describe ukuthi wayekude kangakanani. Ngoba nangesikhathi esephume ngijaha ngamphendula ngisingangimbona ngoba ngesikhathi ngijomba concrete wawubona nayifuna ukujomba odakajombanga ngangubona nalapho ummese ukuthi usawuphethe.
Although I won't be able to say as to how far, but even at the time when he was chasing me, there was a time when I looked back and when I jumped, I could see that he also wanted to jump, but he didn't jump, and I saw that he still had the knife.
Now, in the context of the scuffle that you described, I'll come to that in some detail, but with respect to this knife in the hand of the second suspect, what did he do with that knife regarding the incident as a whole?
Kwisigameko noma nkathi isigameko senzeka ke yini awayenza ke yena ngalommese awayewuphethe?
Angeke ngize angazi ukuthi wenzani.
I don't know what he did.
Njengoba ngishilo ukuthi number 2 yebo ngambona angilanga kakhulu kuyena.
As I said to that, sorry.
Yeah, so angeke ngize ngazi ukuthi wenzani or akenzangani ngommesa.
As I said that, yes, I saw number 2, but I didn't focus on him, so I wouldn't know as to what it is that he did or didn't do with the knife.
Now, I like your frankness on that aspect regarding the second suspect. Did the second suspect, because you said the first suspect verbally demanded money and cell phones, did the second suspect express or say anything during the entire incident?
Ngiyathanda ke ukushoyo ke noma indlela oneqiniso ngayo mayelana nalo wesibili. Nanjengoshilo ke ngaphambilini ukuthi lo wokuqala ke wafuna imali kanye nama cell phones. Ingabe ukhona ke okwashiwo yilo wesibili?
Hayi cha.
No, nothing.
And during
I don't remember. I don't remember.
And during the entire incident, did the first and the second suspect communicate amongst each other?
Kona konke lokho kwakwenzeka ke laba babili abangena ingaba babekhuluma yini noma bakhulumisana yini?
Hayi abakhulumisana nathi sasingakhulumi ngayithini.
They didn't speak to each other because we were not speaking to each other.
My Lord, at this stage would be an appropriate opportunity to take the short adjournment.
Okay. Yeah, 5 minutes.